Sonic used to be completely overshadowed by Mario every single time both of them released a game at the same year. The most recent and egregious example is 2023, when Sonic Superstars released very closely to Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Wonder completely overshadowed it. Sega then went on to say they were disappointed by Superstar sales. This year, 2025, the same thing would happen again, with the release of Mario Kart World alongside Sonic Racing Crossroads. Even Team Sonic Racing was already overshadowed by Crash Team Racing Nitro Field in the past, so everyone was on alert. What came as a surprise is Crossroads is actually becoming one of Sonic's most popular game releases ever, and players are saying it's more fun than Mario Kart. It's currently in 9th place in Steam's top seller chart worldwide. Let that sink in. The 9th best selling game in the world right now. Something no other Sonic game achieved. Why is that? What's the difference between these two games? Is it because Superstars was bad? Or was there something deeper? This is Mr. Fascinating, and that's what we are going to explore in this video. This video was partly inspired by a thread by Twitter user AllSharkQueen, so go give them a follow. We'll also talk about Mario Kart World's newest update and how dumb it is. October 2023 was supposed to be Sonic's moment. Superstars was coming, a return to 2D platforming, a new art style, and 4-player co-op. Fans were looking forward to it, but then Nintendo drops their bomb. Super Mario Wonder came out the same month. Only 3 days later, the writing was on the wall immediately. Wonder completely annihilated Superstars in every metric: sales, critical reception, and cultural impact. But here's the brutal truth nobody wants to acknowledge. Superstars was always destined to fail. Not even because of the game itself, but because of the marketing. Superstars is a pretty different game from Wonder, but the marketing itself was trying to attract the exact same audience that would choose Mario every single time. The game appeared in Nintendo Direct and positioned itself for Nintendo fans who love platformers and 2D Mario games. It wasn't very confident, it was really soft. Every marketing beat screamed, "Please Nintendo fans, notice us and buy our game." Yet Sega didn't understand the fundamental flaw of that strategy. Nintendo fans don't just slightly prefer Mario over Sonic, they love Mario infinitely more than the Blue Blur. Almost every Nintendo fan that watches Nintendo Direct will choose a Mario game over a Sonic game, even if the Sonic game was actually better than the Mario counterpart. When you're begging for scraps from Mario's table, you're already admitting defeat. Nintendo fans don't want Sonic to be like Mario, they want Mario to be Mario, and they don't care what Sonic is like. If they are choosing between a Mario game and a Sonic game positioning itself as Mario, the choice is obvious every single time. And that goes way back to when Sonic Lost World imitated Mario Galaxy style. It was a similar instance, but even more egregious. Here's something most people don't want to admit. Hardcore Nintendo fans don't really like Sonic. Of course, they try out Sonic games because they are colorful mascot platformers, a nostalgic genre that isn't as populated as in the 90s, but they don't really love Sonic. The thing with trying to cater to this audience is that you can't truly win. You could see this visibly when Sega stated they want Sonic to start competing with Mario. In an interview, Osamu Ohashi, the division manager at Sega, was asked what is the current goal of the Sonic brand, and he boldly replied the following: "To put it simply, I want to surpass Mario. Sonic was originally developed to compete with Mario, and we have yet to achieve that. Because we respect Mario, our goal is to catch up to and surpass him. We want Sonic to be played all over the world, including Japan, just like Mario, and we want the movie to be a bigger hit than Mario. That is our goal as Sonic lovers." This is an admirable response, completely said out of admiration and respect for Nintendo's success with the Mario franchise. At least, that's how us, Sonic fans, see it. Most Nintendo fans see it completely differently. They don't see it as motivation or respect. To put it simply, they see it as pure delusion. Look through the comments of any tweet about when this news came out. They read Ohashi's sincere statement and burst out laughing. They don't see how this could be possible. It's just an unexplainable embarrassment for them. That's why when Superstars released very close to Wonder, basically everyone who had a Switch who were Nintendo fans prioritized Wonder over Superstars, even if they could have given Superstars a chance if it had a lower price tag or released in another year. Sega later admits they were disappointed by Superstars' performance. The game that was supposed to recapture the magic of classic Sonic became another footnote overshadowed by Mario's brilliance. What none of us noticed at the time is that Superstars marked the subtle end of an era for how Sega marketed Sonic. This was the last game of the bygone please Nintendo fans like us era, and the success that would follow proved that era had to die. Superstars wasn't an isolated incident. Even outside of Mario, Sonic couldn't catch a break. Team Sonic Racing got completely overshadowed by Crash Team Racing Nitro Field in 2019. Crash, a franchise that had just been reawakened, swooped in and claimed the spotlight. The pattern was becoming impossible to ignore. No matter how good Sonic's games were, something bigger and shinier always stole the thunder. This created a vicious cycle in the Sonic community. Every time a new Sonic game was announced, the immediate response was fear. Fans would automatically start looking at the release calendar, wondering what massive game would bury their blue hedgehog this time, as if we were Horizon fans. It even happened with Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok. The anticipation became anxiety. However, over time, fans started noting a small shift in their marketing with the following games after Superstars. Sonic hasn't appeared in a single Nintendo Direct since 2023. As an example, fans were waiting to see news of Shadow Generations in Nintendo Directs all throughout 2024, but it just wouldn't appear. Now we have the bigger picture to understand the reason, and with Crossroads it was the same thing. Now we have the bigger picture to understand the reason behind this sudden disappearance. Sega wasn't wasting time marketing Sonic to Nintendo fans anymore. They started focusing on other audiences. Throughout history, even though Nintendo fans vastly prefer Mario over Sonic, Sonic would keep selling better on Nintendo than on PlayStation or Xbox. This is not necessarily a good thing. Sega was learning a hard lesson. You can't win by playing someone else's game. You can succeed by trying to be a worse version of something that already exists. Sonic needed to find his own audience, and fast. PlayStation and Xbox have huge install bases of players that could very easily become Sonic fans. And better yet, in these consoles, there is no Italian plumber to steal the spotlight when it comes to platforming or racing games. In fact, the very absence of Mario on PlayStation and Xbox consoles creates a huge invisible demand for mascot platformer games. This is one of the reasons Sony is trying to turn Astro Bot into one of their flagship franchises. It's no coincidence that exactly when Sonic stopped appearing on Nintendo Directs, he began showing up on State of Plays. When Sonic Racing Crossworld was announced alongside Mario Kart World, the community braced for impact. Here we go again, another Sonic game releasing in the shadow of a Mario juggernaut. The drama was even worse than the Frontier skepticism, when I predicted earlier in the year that Crossroads actually could give Mario a run for its money. Almost nobody believed me. Fans were convinced this would be Team Sonic Racing all over again, but worse. Yet something was different about Crossroads from day one. Instead of trying to appeal to Nintendo fans, Sega doubled down on everything that made Sonic distinct. They did everything that Nintendo would never want to or be able to do with Mario Kart. Crossplay across all platforms, a Smash Bros style roster, pulling characters from across gaming history, collabs with literally everything under the sun. These were all things Nintendo would never ever do. Crossroads doesn't want to be Mario Kart but better. It's trying to be something Mario Kart could never be. The marketing strategy was equally confident. Multiple betas, extensive demos, preview events for content creators. Sega were putting Crossroads front and center, daring people to compare it directly to Mario Kart World. The latest ad they just released is proof of this. The complete acceptance of going head-to-head with Nintendo shows a level of confidence the Sonic brand hadn't displayed in years. Sonic doesn't want to depend on Nintendo sales anymore, but other consoles too. The Mega Man DLC announcement has just been one of the highlights of the latest State of Play. Crossroads was sure of itself, and in the eyes of the audience, it made the game very distinct from Mario Kart World. It's very different from the case of Superstars and Wonder, where they seems like two similar games, but with one being worse than the other. Superstars was undeniably inferior to Wonder in a bunch of aspects, and the fact that Crossroads is actually better than Mario Kart World in being a pure fun arcade experience, with no open world filler or annoying intermission tracks helps it a lot. In fact, let's talk about how Mario is doing with its newest update. 4 months after launch, Nintendo finally added the ability to play knockout tours with friends, a feature that should have been there from day one, but the way they implemented it might be the dumbest thing ever seen in a video game. Here's how Nintendo's solution works. Wait until the lobby isn't full, which could take a while. Join your friend's game and then wait until they finish their current race, even if it hasn't started yet. By the way, these races can be 8 or 9 minutes long. Congratulations, you're finally in. Now enjoy exactly one race. Lose or click next race by accident, too bad, you're booted and the party disbands. Start the whole process over again. The system is so broken, it's almost insulting to players who just want to race with their friends. And not even get me started on the lack of traditional 3-lap races online. They still didn't budge even a little bit on that front. Nintendo fans are tired of the developers not listening to their requests. When these same fans saw Sonic racing alongside Hatsune Miku with full crossplay support, all done by a studio that actively listens to their fans, Mario Kart felt stale by comparison. This is Sega finally finding Sonic's true purpose. After decades of identity crisis, Sega's statement about wanting Sonic to compete with Mario doesn't sound delusional anymore. It sounds like a company that finally understands the potential it has, because they finally are competing right now. Sega's goal, that confidence is infectious, and it shows in the word of mouth spreading across social media. If Nintendo keeps ignoring fan requests, this competition might get very interesting very quickly. For the first time in decades, Sonic isn't being overshadowed by Mario, he's outshining him. Click the video that's appearing on screen right now before it disappears to find out why everyone is quitting Mario Kart to play Crossroads.